All right, well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, my brothers and sisters over at YouTube. It's about that time of the year again, isn't it? Gonna give y'all what we have thus far as far as a garden update. People enjoy these videos, so we're gonna give them what we got. All right, our garden season went a little bit of slow this year because the weather has been so volatile. We're in the greenhouse here, and I'll give you a little bit of update of what's going on, okay? Right here, we have a bunch of perlite that's to help aerate the beds. As you can see, our greenhouse is thriving, doing pretty good. Getting ready to head into the 1st of June because we have our big greenhouse fans that are working. We probably need to get rid of that whole thing. That thing ain't worked in 20 years. We have our shade cloth on. And of course, we're already purging the leaves and taking off the suckers from the different type of tomato plants. We use slicing tomatoes. We have paste tomatoes for salsa. We grow a lot of tomatoes because we eat a lot of it, and we mix it a lot in our foods. We also have a lot of peppers, variety of greens, variety of green beans. Of course, you know the sisters have to constantly tend to these. And if people don't know what sucker means, listen. This right here, if you had a tomato plant, you need to learn how to sucker these things real quick, fast, in a hurry to put all the energy down in the main stem so that when you have indeterminate plants, they will grow all the way up to 10, 12 feet and you can have fruit all the way up. And the purpose of that, if you let this grow out, sure, to get fruit on it, but you won't have hardy tomatoes like you expect. These beds are loaded with chicken manure, all types of different types of manure and everything. What plants are them right there, Caroline?
Bell peppers.
Bell peppers.
Yes,
all right. She's got it looking really nice in this greenhouse. What are these right here?
that is celery, sir.
Celery. Some good looking celery too. And as we go on to the outside right here with our old truck, as you can see, we have sweet potatoes sitting over in the flats, more potatoes and more peppers and stuff that we grew here. We have the peat moss is mainly for the greenhouse, and peat moss at the top of the hill is only for the outhouses. That's what we use them for. Of course, then we have our pear trees right here, or apple trees over, no, pear trees over here, which let me go ahead and get y'all in on this real quick. We have the pear trees. Right here, as you can tell, they are loaded with pears. And of course, we got a few apples last year, the apple trees are finally doing what they're supposed to do. And let's go over here to the other greenhouse. Now, I don't mind telling you that you usually need somebody full-time on gardening, especially growing food. And you know just as well as I do, growing food is going to, hey, I really truly think there's going to be a food shortage coming up this year. And it's already a food shortage because of the high prices that a lot of people are paying. But man, this does definitely help quill the grocery bill when you grow your own greens, grow your own food. Let's get into a small greenhouse now, okay? Over here, we have in these green tubs. We've already done harvest some, you can tell. This is mint. We make a lot of mint tea, to drink a lot of mint tea in spring and summertime. And of course, we have a variety of lettuces that we use inside of our salads. We have salads every single day here on the land. And of course, the feast days are coming up, so you know we're going to probably have 500 people here for the feast days, and it's just going to we're going to run through these things like you wouldn't believe. That's some nice looking spinach right there. Some more green lettuces right here. I don't see any Boston butter. I like butter crunch. Carolina, you got any butter crunch planted anywhere? Is there any butter crunch?
Butter crunch?
Lettuce.
No, sir,
She ain't got
no.
none. Well, I guess Pastor Dowell ain't gonna get no butter crunch this year. Are we gonna get some this year?
Yes, sir.
Okay, she said we are. And then we have all these trees right here. These little nice fancy things. It's a full-time job, and Sister Carolina and Sister Susan, they do a real good job. More peppers right here. Individual to go out into the gardens. Okay, so as we go along here, give y'all a little taste of the country here for the children for a second. Here are our milk goats. You know, I hear people out there saying over and over again, you don't want people making their own breast milk and all this other stuff. But what if you had your own milk goats and you control the environment of the goats and stuff? I can tell you what, we do just fine out here. People will always use fear tactics to make you believe that there could be possibly something wrong that's going to be detriment to you, but it couldn't be nothing more detriment than pesticides, herbicides, chemicals, and not knowing what's inside the food that's out there, and especially the stuff that's not disclosed. And they got all these big, long 15, 16 letter alphabet words out there that nobody can make sense of. Let's go to the first garden right here. And mind you, we're just on just one portion of our garden. We have gardens at the bottom hill, gardens at the top of the hill. All right, right here we're looking at a bunch of broccoli. All right, y'all see this? And of course, if many of you don't know, you should know it now, that you can pretty much eat broccoli leaves kind of like you would greens, turnip greens, or any other greens, vegetables that you grow. We do it all the time, and we just love our food. It tastes a whole lot different than the produce you would get in the store. And let me explain something we did this year. I learned this from Brother Robert and Sister Deidre down in Straitway, Georgia East. And of course, we're gonna have to do more on this, because this is our herb bed right here, one of our herb beds. And there's some cilantro right here, beds of cilantro right here. But these are blackberries. As you can see, we got them as far as you can see. And what these white things are, it lets the sun and everything in, lets the rain and everything in, but it's a deterrent. And we're going to have to close up the tops because birds are smart. We want to definitely close those tops up. But birds, when our blackberries come in, and we get a bumper crop of blackberries everywhere, you see it flowering right there. The bees come in and pollinate it, and you can see that the blackberries, it's going to be just a bumper crop of them. But if we just let them hang out here, the birds will be feasting more on these blackberries than we are. And so we try to do what we can to preserve our own blackberries. And so we use these cloths right here, and we're going to adjust them to make sure we get as many blackberries as we want, besides feeding the wildlife, because we love our blackberry jam. And I'm sure if you never had homemade blackberry jam, you wouldn't know what I'm actually talking about. But if you did have some homemade blackberry jam, or you had some homemade apple pies or homemade peach cobbler, and I can go on and on, you can see the reason why that we love our own blackberries. All right, giving another example up here for a second. Here's another setting. Of course, Sister Ashley years ago decided to let these trees grow up for shade, and I told her she could do it for the blackberries, and that's fine and good too. Over here, I'm sure you can see all of these, all our layers, and I think we get in between 12 and 20 dozen eggs a day, which it seems like a lot, but it's not a lot when you're feeding on average daily 40 people. And then of course here is where we actually separate our cattle when we're getting ready to butcher. We've already done butchered a couple of beef this year, and of course, again, I know that a lot of people have reservations about community and all this other stuff, but once you're here, hold on a second. Hey, Brother Bud, I have a bundle of 2-foot steaks on the back side of my garage.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, y'all. But anyway, I don't know what the reservation is when you have, just like the book says, brethren and sisters dwelling together in unity. It makes no sense to me. It really truly don't, when you have the opportunity to live in such a fashion and the way the book says, and you wouldn't even know what the peace that passes all understanding is unless you do this. For instance, we have on this community, and I know it's a garden video, but we have on this community our own schoolhouse to where we homeschool. Our children all get not only high school degrees, they get college degrees. We don't recommend them going to school, but we can't stop them. And but we have our own tabernacle, we have our own gym, we have our own fellowship hall. We have 2 dining facilities here. We have our own homes. We own every single thing out here. There's nothing on a note at all. Everything you see, we have, we got, it's ours. Let's get back on over here, okay? All right. That's some more broccoli. And of course, we got some cabbage planted too. This is part of main garden number 1. Main garden number 2 is at the top of the hill. And of course, hey, Bro Scott, well, y'all see, tell Bro Scott, hey, it don't look like they're going to use that compost there in the center. So we need to take it and put it back. Or either stack it somewhere in the back there or something. Next to that garden in the back. And we enjoying life and we love life. And of course, here's some more cabbage right here. We got some Jersey Wakefield. And some of them are early, some of them late. We have 45-day cabbage, and then we have 90-day cabbage, which will take us all the way up until the fall, until the Feast of Tabernacles. This is, believe it or not, that's actually compost. We call that gold, Tennessee gold. And we done used some of it out the front. I'd actually pour more over here than was necessary, so we're getting ready to move it back, put it back on the compost pile. Because we have more cabbage over here, more, and we go on and on and on. And the garden goes on. Now, what we have right here is we actually have Brother Rich. He's over here working on a sweet potato plot. That's what that is. He's working on an actual sweet potato plot. And of course, all of these right here that you're seeing are all apple trees. And we get a bumper crop of apples off of them. We seem like they're doing better and better each year. On the other side over there, way back there, if you look and see, there's some garlic over there, okay? And, of course, there's Summer Nelly, and there's his Kaya. Hey, it's Kaya. His Kaya got his hair braided. You gonna wave to the people? You gonna wave? No. Has you eaten? You eat?
He just came from visiting Grandma.
Oh, you visit Grandma. Oh, okay. All right, so his cow's back in his rare form. Anyway, as we go on. Sweet potatoes are going to be planted right here, and then we're going to make a trip. And we're going to head up here and look at the garlic. And see what else we got. Of course, right here, we also have more raised beds. And if you look closely way back there, there's a whole line of plants and foods behind these little bungalows as well. So, you look at all these. You see little Judith. She's bringing out the hose to get ready to water the plants over here. Her and her mom, and there's a little bit in Mom's front right there in the carrier. So, go up here and show you about the garden. Now, the garlic, what you should do with garlic is you should actually plant it in the fall, let it set, and it'll come up. It ain't gonna die, it'll come up. It seems like it's dead, but it's not. And then, if you harvest the bulbs, you should get bigger bulbs and a greater harvest the next following year. But anyway, here's the garlic. And this is a portion of it. This is a big bed right here. Has a lot of good garlic that's going to be in there as well. Of course, here's our old country clothesline. All right, so we go on. And I'm not going to actually go all the way to the back right now. I just thought that I'd come on here and give y'all a little tour of the garden. Children's playground right there. Basketball court, jungle gym, trampoline, pavilion. They got bikes and everything over there. Of course, you look over here, there's more. There's some Black Sea Simpson. I can see it from here. Those beds, those brown beds over there, they actually have a bunch of food. We can't go down through here, though. And then I'll get out of this wet grass because my toes are really wet right now from all the dew that's going on. There's more different types of onions, which we'll see as well. And so the entrance to our dining hall, the storage room. Of course, we have a bunch of roses right here. Sun bloomed and adds a nice smell and makes things colorful. And of course, here's some of the onions that they make chives and everything else off of. Here's the children's playground, part of it, for the baby as well as the children. And I think that's good enough for the day. That's a pretty long, extensive video. I'm actually increasing my presence again, more so over on Patreon again. YouTube, I don't know what in the world's going on. I've been stuck at 205,000 subscribers for the last 4 to 6 months. And they do that every so often. One time I was actually stuck, and I knew people was watching because you could see the likes. And one time I was actually stuck on that thing for some number for like a year and a half, where they just would not move Pastor Dowell no matter what. No telling what's going on. You can put forth all kind of accusations and all that stuff, but it doesn't make no difference. The ones who have ears to hear, they'll hear. The ones that are ordained eternal life, they'll get it. The ones that ain't, they won't. But anyway, that's just part of our garden right there. We didn't even do the back half up there, and nor we started the one at the top of the hill because we're extremely busy. We had a Feast of Pentecost coming up this weekend. It's going to have probably about maybe 500 people here. It's going to be on the land. It's a beautiful day. It's going to get up to 80. Today is very low humidity. We're enjoying this weather. It actually motivates you to want to get out, cut grass, and get your hands in the dirt. And most people will not understand what living is until you get your hands in that dirt. But anyway, we're blessed, and we do thank the Most High for all the provisions that He's given us, knowing that He is the giver of every good gift. I hope that some way, somehow, we give some type of inspiration to you today. So I'm going to end this video as we take a short walk. Show y'all some of the apples that are coming in on the apple trees. See, the apples right there. Apples right there. They're all coming in, looking really nice. Need to make sure we preserve them and stay on top of that. Oh, of course. You know, Mother Carol has her business, and most people, if you don't know, this is where Mother Carol actually has her shop and does all her business. This is where all the Carol L products are made, right here. So, with all that said, we're gonna bid y'all shalom from Straitway. The King is coming.